Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday night.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but this is my favorite thing to do on a Saturday night. To be hanging out with Steph, talking about intuition, and hanging out with all of you trendy Facebookers. So say hello if you're jumping on, and please let us know where you're tuning in from. And you grab your tuning fork if you'd like Steph. My name is Laura Mazzotta. I'm the Akashic therapist, and I activate deep healing and secure energy and confidence in the space of the Akashic records. Steph, would you like to introduce yourself while I share out?
Absolutely. Stephanie Victoria. I am the Akashic Alchemist, and I work with high-level intuitives, coaches, healers, and anyone who's interested in expanding their consciousness through the Akashic records.
Awesome. So we are a powerhouse team here together. And we wanted to come live because it's actually been coming up a decent amount lately. I guess the level of need we have for tuning into our intuition. We did a workshop, a couple weeks ago? I can't even remember when it was. Yeah. Something like that, on how to correct the course of your chaos because of all of the chaos that's going on globally right now. And really giving people some tangible tools and techniques to start applying or to return to. Hey, Pamela, thanks for being here. So that they can start implementing these things in our lives. And, tuning into your intuition is not something that just comes naturally right away.
No way.
No. I mean, well, unless the only caveat there is, like, if you're a little nugget, when we're super intuitive, when we're younger, that wall kind of starts to lift. We start to have so much conditioning that gets in the way. So if you have a parent who is able to guide you, or any kind of mentor or guide who's able to guide you from the time you're young, then you're not necessarily going to have to work as hard.
Yeah.
But, with intuition, it's really about feeling a little rebellious, like going against the grain of, you have to do this. This is the way society works, all of that, in order to be able to, be accepted and have a functional life. And really what's more important, is getting in tune with that intuitive soul version of who you are so that you can authentically express yourself. And then the people that come into your life are going to be right in alignment with who you truly are at the core.
That's what makes it so much fun too. Honestly, when you think back to the times in your life when you were completely out of alignment, completely out of sync with your own intuition, feeling that like disconnect and constant questioning and frustration and all of those things that come with being out of alignment with your highest self and with your intuition. Think of oh man, the things that we could navigate more smoothly.
Yes. And that's
how many things do you think back on? Because I can think of quite a few things that I look back on and I'm like, wow, how would I have done that differently had I been in tune with my own best good, my inner knowing? Had I been in tune, had I seen that the way I see it now? Because when you look back, of course, you're like, oh my gosh, there were red flags everywhere and I wasn't paying any attention.
What, you mean like being a therapist for 16 years and like hitting a freaking wall and getting a chronic illness and being hospitalized with sepsis? Yeah, I think maybe.
I like that.
That's the thing is, like, it's not that I wasn't taking care of myself. It's not that, and by the way, guys, neither of us planned on both wearing an off-the-shoulder shirt today. And it's pretty hysterical that we both showed up with our sexy shirts today. So I just wanted you guys to know that this was not planned. This was all the universe. Sexy Saturday. So yeah, I think that's the difference is, I've always been on a journey of self-development. I've always been very introspective and very aware.
Yeah.
And yet I still got smacked. Now, some of that was my own stuff, and some of that was like ancestral stuff and past life stuff that I hadn't cleared or didn't even have an awareness of. But I was plugging along thinking I was kicking ass and taking good care of myself. And then I learned that I wasn't. And now I can see the difference, because being so in tune with my intuition, it makes you in tune with all layers of your being: physical, emotional, mental, energetic, spiritual, so that when those little tiny tweaks come along, you're able to say, oh, wait, there was a little blip on that radar, and I catch it like miles sooner than I used to catch it. So I just feel like it'll be more, yeah, you're more preventive this way.
Tuned in to when to make changes before. Sometimes, hopefully most of the time, before things go completely awry.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you guys say in the comments, Monica had mentioned something earlier. Let's see, what did she say? She said the amazingness of spirit connecting messages today. So what are the messages that you've had come through today? And what are the, I guess, cues that are, some of you are aware of, that let you know that you're tuned into your intuition, or that you're catching things earlier and being able to say, yeah, I'm a rock star. Like, I can see this sooner now and I can stay ahead of it. Let us know in the comments how that shows up for you. So Steph, tell us about an experience where you looked back and said, wow, I really could have learned my intuition or tuned into my intuition there.
Man. I mean, right off the top of my head, it's the biggest one. The one that I look back on and go, wow, should have maybe seen that coming. You know, young things, right? Young times, young life mistakes, young, you know, all of that. And I am going back. I'm going back now to a time when I was completely in disconnect. But having a series of events unfold one after the other in relationship situations,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing things to go so far that the universe put a big stop right in front of me in a big, powerful way. And that was for me one of the biggest things in my life that was like, oh, wow, crazy things happen for a reason. We say they're crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we look back and we see the synchronicities, it's like, wow, holy smoke. So for me, it was getting hit head on by a truck.
Yeah, just that's all. Just that.
And just looking back on the experience of it and being able to see all of this, you know, things that were unfolding in my world that should have said no, 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 to be going down a path that wasn't aligned with my highest good at all, not even remotely. And then the little, you know, messages that you kind of get even through those really hard times that help you better understand why things happen, because we can't stop the bad things from happening. But looking back and seeing the wild synchronicities, even around something that was tough, you know what I mean? It was hard. We're talking 20 years ago. So this isn't like fresh for me or anything like that.
Right.
I've been processing for a very, very long time, but seeing it now as this huge pivotal moment where I was essentially gifted this scenario, this situation in my life, this story to tell, this unfolding with all of these, like I'm saying, synchronicities and things that for me now are so evident. And then had I been aligned, would have been, but they weren't.
Right. There was something you said earlier. And let's go over to Pamela's comment now, because she talks about she gets sick to her stomach. And I'm really glad you're able to tune into your physical body that way, because so many people are not tuned into that. And once it gets to our physical body, it's pretty dense at that point, right? Like whatever's been brewing under the surface, or subconscious beliefs or what have you, they start to show up in physical sensations. And it's great to be able to use our body as a tool, because we don't want it to get worse than that, for sure. And what you were saying, stuff too, yeah, like all these messages come along and you don't hear them, or you know what, I heard the messages, I listened to them. Like for instance, a few years before I got sepsis, both of my parents got cancer right around the same time. And so then I was like, all right, I'm going to cut back on work. I'm going to shift my life, you know? And then my dad passed. Okay, I'm going to shift my life. Then then my daughter was born, and I was really, really sick with that. I was really sick with the pregnancy. And so I adjusted my life again. And it was like all of these things in a row. And I listened, but I wasn't looking into it deeply enough. And that's what I love so much about the intuitive work, particularly because it helps you know yourself so intimately, you know, because we can all have the same skill set and the same tools in our toolbox, but we're going to use them and integrate them differently just based on the fact that we're unique individuals with, you know, unique DNA and unique energetic mix and unique things passed down from our ancestors and past lives and, you know, stuff like that. So, so that's the thing. It's really important to not just say, oh, this is happening and I need to focus more on family and shift my life, but also, what does this represent? What does this symbolize? And what is the actual message that's being sent? Does that make sense, the difference? Yeah. Okay, Valencia. I love this. Also curious about the intuitive nudges about stuff that is so good for you. Yes. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Steph, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a matter of tapping in, tuning in, and what are those nudges for you? I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but being able to tap in and tune into them and be able to, like we've been talking about, align with your highest good and listen to those nudges that tell you when to make changes or when to adopt new choices or, you know, shift things in your life that align you with abundance and healthy relationships and fulfilling careers and all of these things that all of us crave and are supposed to have. Listening to those nudges is so important.
But making sure that you don't just move ahead with supposed tos and shoulds.
Right.
You know, and getting blocked in by that, because one of the biggest shifts that I had to do was to redefine my definition of success. I had to redefine my definition of a lot of things, actually. You know, success, self-love, connection, like I could make a list for so long. Patience, I could keep going. So, you know, but really, and the reason I say this, and I think it's really important, is because we all need to find the things that are important or that show up regularly in our lives. What is my definition of this? How do I want this to show up in my life? How close is this as a value to me? How important is it? And get that idea under your belt. And I know that a lot of times what people use is muscle testing. How do you feel about muscle testing, Steph?
Oh, I love muscle testing.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually like to use my pendulum more than muscle testing. I feel like it's more accurate for me. Mm-hmm. I know that muscle testing, it's funny because I don't do muscle testing. And I think one of the reasons that I don't do muscle testing is because I can tune in before I have to muscle test. So like I will literally be standing there and I'll have supplements in front of me or something to eat or whatever. And I'll just kind of scan them and say, okay, which one feels good? You know, like which one resonates and which one doesn't. And I just know which one is going to suit me at that moment. But a lot of people do need to use muscle testing, which is basically, you know, you can put your fingers together like this. And if you say, my name is Laura, and it breaks apart.
Again, I get better at it, but it's, no.
You know, the best for me. The one that works the best for me is this one.
Really?
Yeah, so I go in circles or I go back and forth depending on the day and what feels like. And if it's like really smooth, so like I'll be standing in front of, I don't know, a piece of shrimp. And I'll be like, okay, so should I eat it? Shrimp's my favorite food, so there you go. And love it. Anyway, and so I'll be like standing in front of it and I'll be like, okay, should I have this or should I not? You know, and so you can tell with the muscle testing, if it gets really sticky and sludgy, then it's a no. But if it goes really fast and it starts to get smoother, then it's a yes. So you can tune into like supplements you're going to eat. And for shrimp, by the way, it's always a yes. But, but you could tune into anything. So a lot of people do use that. Like if they're not really feeling like their cue is reliable from their body or whatever their intuition is telling them you haven't trusted that yet, you can use muscle testing to kind of confirm which direction you're going in. So
I recommend it. I do, especially for someone who's starting out.
Yeah.
Tuning their intuition. It's a great tool for that.
Yeah, and you know, I think people who are
trust everything.
What'd you say?
My 17-year-old. Yeah, it's so easy for kids. It's easy for anybody to learn to do that. It's just a good tool when you're starting to really open yourself up to that, to be able to tap in.
So love that she's doing that. And that's exactly so funny, because this was coming up in my mind earlier when we were talking too, that that's exactly why we're doing this work, right? Is because you could easily say, oh, well, in my 20s, when I was wild and crazy and did this and that and made decisions not for my intuition, that the reason I did that is because I was young and I had to learn. And now that I get older, I know. But it's so funny because I have so many clients that are in their early 20s and some even younger than that, who are already doing this work and with a level of wisdom and intuitive know-how that is way beyond where I certainly was at that point, but where you would, as a society, expect a 20-year-old to be, right? And it's so brilliant that we have so many people who are waking up to this and sharing this stuff publicly, so that the younger people can start to have this knowledge and a level of awareness to be preventive going forward, not only for themselves but for their family members.
Yeah, it's got to continue.
Yeah,
it's where we're headed. It's where the world is going.
Yes, it is.
And it's exciting to be part of it.
Oh, and we get to be part of it. See? All right, so let us know if you guys have questions about, okay, good. Monica's sharing a book here. Thank you, love. Epic popped up in my head. I love the book. The author talks a lot about muscle testing. So there's and I know that honestly, guys, too, if you Google it, there are definitely a lot of videos on YouTube that are free that you can access to teach you different types of muscle testing. I know one of the most common ones that's easy for people starting out is just using your body, like standing in front of whatever product or that you want to purchase or that you want to consume or something, and just seeing if your body moves forward or moves back as you stand there. Like, where does it sway? And I know a lot of people, like that one, until at least they get used to using their fingers in whatever way they want to use their fingers. But there's so many different ways to muscle test. And really what it is connecting to that subconscious mind. Your subconscious is communicating through your muscle testing. And that subconscious mind makes up 95% of the content that comes through our awareness. Well, it doesn't even come through our awareness a lot of the time, but that exists on a daily basis. So it's really driving a lot, and we need to work on it. What would you say? Oh, the book is free on Kindle Unlimited. Monica, you are a wealth of information. You should just come on with us. Do this with us. You're awesome. Thanks for being here. So, Steph, what would you say is one of the best ways for people to get in touch with their intuition, kind of start this process?
You got to make it a consistent habit. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's learning to meditate, using meditation to connect and cleanse, connect, listen to your own intuition in a meditation, connect with your higher self, whatever it is that you're doing, it's got to be consistent. It can't be something you do for 2 weeks and stop. You can't do that. That's like when you ask what's the biggest tip, what's the biggest thing that would come into my head, it would be consistency.
I would agree with you. Yeah, because it is truly a muscle that you need to develop. So what happens if you exercise and then you don't for 2 weeks and then you don't exercise for a while and then you get back into it? You're going to be sore. It's going to be harder. You're not going to have as much stamina, and it's going to take time to get to your goal, right? So it's amazing once you start working with your intuition, because I was such a huge skeptic when I started a lot of this work. And it's amazing how the signs just flow in, the more consistent you are, and everything just starts to become easier and available to you. It just kind of falls in your lap and you're like, whoa, okay, that came out of nowhere. So it really communicates back to you. It's truly a relationship between yourself and your intuition, and something that obviously you want to maintain consistency in your relationship. So look at that the same way, you know?
Yeah, relationship that you have, you wouldn't engage for 2 weeks and then like never talk again. That's not very nice.
That relationship isn't going to be super strong if that's
Right.
so yeah, consistency for sure. Yes, I agree, Pamela. She says consistency is the key to success in everything. And the one thing I want to make sure is clear is that when we talk about consistency, I don't want it to be forced, and I don't want it to be this like desperate energy of, oh, I have to be consistent and I'm feeling like this is obligatory. Because if it is, you're not going to get the same thing out of it. You want to go into it with an energy that really supports ease and flow. So like it could be consistency and just being receptive in meditation to whatever energy is flowing to you. It doesn't have to be like an active activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you don't have to be doing a task or something. Like you can literally just say, well, my commitment to myself or my commitment to this relationship with my intuition is going to be consistently just sitting there with my eyes closed and just listening for a few minutes and just seeing what comes to me. You know, because if you're somebody who's like a real pusher and you like push through and you go, 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 then you're going to say, oh, well, I'll connect to my intuition, but then it's going to become a task on your list. And that energy is not going to be behind it where you're really intentional and committed to it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't want it to feel like homework. You don't want it to feel like a thing that you're just checking off.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you don't want it to be.
Right.
It's not effective. It's not effective if you're feeling like connecting to your intuition is a chore.
Right. I know. And that's why, like,
Yeah,
Steph, we talked about muscle testing and Steph was talking about consistency. And I would say that one of the biggest things for me at the beginning was journaling for sure. And it wasn't just free writing. There's a couple different ways to do it. And the reason that journaling is so great is not only are you having this conversation with your intuition, but so if you free write, you're putting yourself in that receptive space. Just say, I'm just going to take whatever's coming through. And you literally just take a piece of paper and you just go. You don't analyze it. You don't try to make beautiful sentences. You don't try to, you know, I cursed a lot, you know, at the beginning. I had a lot of feelings. I just let it go.
You get it down.
Let it down. Out of here. Out of
Mhm.
here. And so that's one way to do it because you're being receptive then, and you have this very laid back, relaxed, open energy. But you can also do more guided, directed journaling to pinpoint and get to those subconscious thoughts that are really that are underlying what you really think you're upset about. Because I promise a lot of times you're not really upset about the thing that you're upset about.
It's amazing what answering the right question can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you and I have such beautiful guides in our lives to like send us those questions or like cue us with those questions. And we've been following that path for a while that really get us to sit with ourselves and say, you know, what is this about and what is this bringing up? So one of the things I would recommend if you guys need a place to start with more of the directed journaling is Byron Katie. And that's on thework.com. I'll put it here in the comments so that you can access it. She has free worksheets on that website that you can download. And one of the worksheets is just teaching you how to follow the question pattern that she uses to get to the deeper thoughts. But the other one is like, it's called the Judge-Your-Neighbor Worksheet, where you start, if you're starting from a place of just, I'm freaking out, she takes you from freak out to what's really underneath it. So you have to be receptive to do this work. So just raise your hand in the comments or just give me an emoji or something, and let us know if you feel like you're in a place where you're receptive or more resistant to just kind of allowing things to flow, because that's really key. You've got to be open to this.
Did you see Concetta's question?
No, I didn't. I'll put it up on the screen.
How can you tell the difference between a gut feeling versus a feeling of fear sensation in the solar plexus?
Do you have an answer to that, or do you want me to answer that?
I mean, I have an answer.
Okay, so you answer first, and then if I have anything to add, I will add.
I can always tell the difference between fear and my intuition. It's a completely different feeling, and now I'm trying to articulate it. You go right ahead, Laura.
Okay, honey. So one of the things I will say is that this is something that I promise you will improve as you continue to practice with your intuition.
Yeah.
You're going to get more and more in tune, and it's going to be more and more obvious. Okay? So when it's my intuition, it's funny because, and I'm really glad that you asked this question, you posed it in the way that you did, because it's making me also aware of how much I've shifted, which just makes me so excited. But, if I would have looked back 4 years ago, I would have said that my gut feeling is in my gut, and that it was very similar to that solar plexus twinge, that butterflies in your stomach stuff. But now when it's my intuition, it's just a knowing, and it really exists from my eyebrows up. So, like, if it's my intuition, I'll almost feel like a tingling in my forehead. I'll feel like a little airy, almost a little lightheaded sometimes. And every once in a while, a teeny bit of nausea. So I'll get, but it's really, because that kind of goes along with that, I guess you could call it a little bit of a dizzy feeling. Because you're kind of up here. That's the way that you could explain it in human terms, when really what I know is I'm connected to my higher self. I'm connected to my intuition, to spirit, to the universe. And when it comes through, I just know, because as I move closer to doing the thing that my intuition might not want me to do, I start to feel more and more uncomfortable. I'll get really, no, that doesn't, no. I can feel it reverberate through my entire body.
Feel it here. You're feeling it in your core, that feeling.
Yeah, and if you're getting a feeling of fear in your solar plexus, your intuition, it's funny because your intuition is in alignment with your higher self and your soul's purpose and your soul's path. There is no place for fear there at all. So if you're feeling fear, that can be an indication that you are not following your soul's purpose. You are not following your soul's path. So use it as a cue, but understand that, so maybe your intuition is signaling your body to cue you, to wake you up and say, no, don't go that way. But ultimately, your intuition is intimately connected with your higher self. And that's a soul purpose mission that there's really no fear involved there at all, because fear only comes from the ego. What are your thoughts on that stuff?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It is a cue. It's not, I don't know that I would classify it as fear. When I think of fear up here, the things that we create in our minds, and then you get the little chest anxiety up here, but not down in the solar plexus. That's a cue to me.
I think that's a cue too, because it's funny. Once again, years ago, I would have said that that's anxiety because it's butterflies in my stomach, and that's where I've always felt anxiety.
I like the way Monica said that too. Fear is a heavy vibration. Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what, because fear is way down here on the emotional frequency triangle, right?
Yep.
Fear is way down here. And love is way up here. It's about moving up. And what I tell my clients a lot of the time is, if you say, all right, listen, I have a lot of blocks, or I have some resistance and a hesitance to tune into my intuition, and I'm kind of I'm kind of confused. I don't know if I'm ready yet. Then I say, you know what I want you to do? I want you to get pissed off, because when you move from fear to anger, you're moving up on that emotional frequency triangle. And honestly, if you move all the way from fear all the way up here to like enlightenment or pure bliss, you're going to like break the human. You're going to be a hot mess, you know, because it's just a huge shift in frequency.
Yeah, you don't want to short circuit the human.
Yeah, let's not break anyone.
Sometimes we can't, but yeah, if you can, you want to avoid that.
Yeah, so just getting up to that, get to anger, because fear, shame, guilt, depression, anxiety, all of it is just a condensed version of anger that hasn't been released or processed.
And what a beautiful message at this time on our planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're afraid right now, you got to get angry.
It's true.
It is.
It's more empowering. It's more mobilizing. It motivates you to take action. Whereas a lot of those other emotions, fear, guilt, shame, anxiety, all of that.
Action. They're laden with inaction, with pulling back, with that recluse aspect.
Yeah, like paralysis.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, so getting angry encourages us to take action. And people are afraid of that because they're afraid of, oh, what will I do? Well, you know, I mean, I'm not encouraging you to go out and do something aggressive, but there's a lot of tools that you can use to, my favorite one for releasing anger is lining up the line of empty aluminum cans and smashing them.
Oh, that's a nice one.
It's brilliant because the more that you can incorporate, anybody who works with me, I'm sure, is so sick of hearing this. The more that you can incorporate all 5 senses into one experience, the more effective it's going to be. So that when you've got a few going on, you're listening to it, you're feeling it, you can scream while you do it. You can hit them with a bat, with your foot. I don't care what you do, but you're really incorporating a lot of those so that you can honor it for coming up. And when things come up for us, I used to be of the mindset that I was like, oh, I don't want to feel this anymore. I got to get rid of this. I got to get rid of this. I don't want to feel this way. And it's not about that. It's about,
there's so much coming forward for you in that, in what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And being able to tap into that, even when these things happen that we're like, ew, no, make it stop. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to see it from a different perspective. And when you're connected to your intuition, you can most definitely do that.
Yeah, because we go into avoidance mode at that point rather than meeting like honoring it for coming up. Because the reason it's coming up, my friends, is because it wants to be released. Yeah. It does not want to hang out in your body, I promise you. And it will not serve you. It will only make you ill, whether it's physical, mental health, what have you. Right? So, what?
It's got to come out. It's going to find a way out eventually. Work with it. Allow it. Accept it. Flow with it. Yeah.
And the more comfortable and in tune you are with your intuition, the more you can meet these kinds of things that come up with compassion and curiosity to think, oh, wow, this is interesting that this is presenting right now. I wonder what this is about for me. I wonder what this is offering me. I want you to really align every cue, whether it's physical, external, mental, emotional, as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to expand, release it. Yes, Monica. Crush some cans. One of my favorites. I also like burning shit. That's really fun.
Burning shit is a lot of fun.
Writing everything down, like on your phone.
Yes.
Please burn in a safe container. You can return those ashes to Mother Earth so she can use them for her rich soil. All right, Conchetta says, I am working hard at releasing fear beliefs. Had no idea I've been carrying around so much fear. I'm so glad that you're aware of that. That is such a beautiful gift because that's the first step. And that's like your gateway drug, right? Awareness is to be like, oh, now I'm aware. Now it's easy from here because I know what I have in front of me, like on the platter, and now I know how to prepare it or what to do with it.
You said awareness is a gateway drug. Awareness is your spiritual gateway drug.
Maybe I should meme that. I should make a meme.
You should.
That's my,
It's
yeah.
so true. It's so true. Once you've got that rolling, once the awareness is in front of everything that you're doing, yeah, things start to really unfold. It gets exciting.
Yeah, and I just want to send a little Reiki for a moment to Conchetta, just to honor her for being vulnerable and sharing that with us, but also just to ease some of this for you, my friend, so that you have the opportunity to really allow this to come forward for you, to meet it with a level of intimacy that encourages connection to your soul, to the people around you, to the resources that are always available to you. And just knowing that we're holding space for you as you move through that. I've been there. I had settled on, I'm just going to be an anxious person for the rest of my life until I found the Akashic records. And it just blew everything away. And then I realized later that it was gone. That was gone. My confidence was now here, which I never thought would be here. My emptiness and loneliness was gone. Just gone. So the power of this work is something that it's very experiential, which is why we really encourage you guys to just start practicing and being consistent, like Steph said, because some people are just not going to be believers until they feel it for themselves and see it for themselves. And that's what, for me, it just, and I've always been a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
But it just had to keep showing up in my life. And I just kept having these aha moments like, oh my God, like, wow, I had no idea that either that was going on with me or that I could get to this level. And after a number of those, I was like, all right, this shit's real. Like, this is real.
Oh, you're welcome, sweet pea.
Wow. Let it out, my love. I'm so glad you're allowing yourself to just release. And I know that's not the most comfortable feeling, but I promise you, you know what you're doing right now? You're creating space for whatever you choose. It can be unconditional love. It can be patience. It can be compassion. Anything else, Steph? You want to give her anything else?
So much. That's
No.
that whole creating space thing. As soon as you said that, I just envisioned this influx of unseen motivation.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Love that.
And that is like, it's like a silent hitchhiker, because inspiration is where it's at. And those are the things that we make so much space for when we start releasing. And the inspired need no motivation. So that turns out nice. It turns out real good.
Turns out real nice.
Turns out real good.
The other thing too is if you have a block in any of your chakra systems or anywhere in your chakra system, it, you know, that prana is not going to flow very, very clearly and smoothly. So you're going to have less access to your passion and to your inspiration. It's there, but it's going to be harder to access because you have these blocks in the way. So
tell us, you guys, if you're familiar with how to balance your chakras, or if that's something that you've ever done, or when's the last time you did it? I'm curious.
How often do you do it, Steph?
At least weekly, at least.
Yeah, I would say that's about accurate for me too.
Intuitive for me to just feel that, like, you know, okay, so it's like if you go to the chiropractor and you know what that feeling feels like when you've just left and you've had all that beautiful work done and you're feeling super aligned, right? Mm-hmm. And then a day or two goes by and you start to notice like a little crick maybe, or things just feel a little tighter. You just don't feel as refreshed. And then eventually you go back because you know it's time.
Mm-hmm.
That's That's how I kind of liken it, the feeling of being out of balance and knowing that your chakra system is out of balance. You know what it feels like when you're aligned, when you have just completely aligned yourself, when you've tuned in and you've done the work and you have put your system back in order, released what needed released, balanced what needed balanced, and you know what that feels like. So for me, it just kind of, when I get to that point where I can sense things aren't in alignment anymore, I'm tuning back in. It's at least weekly.
Well, and some people do that with yoga versus chiropractic. But what I really like is that you didn't use the example of a medical doctor necessarily, because when we talk about that, we've usually gone too long, right? Because we have physical symptoms at that point that have gotten us to a point where we say, this is not something that I can tolerate any longer on my own or do something about. I need help. I'm feeling more desperate and I need someone to guide me. And once it gets to that point where you're really in physical dis-ease, then it's gone too far, right?
Yeah.
So it's important. I'm really glad that you mentioned chiropractic, and obviously yoga is very similar to that for a lot of people. That if you do that on a preventive basis, and you know what, I just feel like I need a good adjustment or a massage or something like that to just make myself feel more in alignment. That's a really good analogy. I love that. Okay, and Conchetta, we can help you with that for sure. She's saying that she always feels like she's blocked in her solar. So did I. That was exactly. And when I feel a little bit out of alignment, I get that solar plexus every single time. That's exactly where mine lives. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And we can tell you, we'll tell you about how we can help you with that in just a minute as well. Mindfulness is how Monica works through her chakra energy. What kind of mindfulness practice is one of the best? Please consider a guided chakra alignment call, says Pamela. Yes, ma'am. Noted. Noted. We will add it to our list, my love. What was I going to say? Oh, mindfulness.
Yeah, so working.
How do you use mindfulness with that, Monica? What I have found to be one of the best tools for mindfulness, other than using as many of the five senses at the same time as you can, is actionforhappiness.org has calendars for every month on mindfulness.
Wow.
They have different ones. There's like one on awareness, the gateway drug. And there's one on other topics as well. But I know for March, they had a mindfulness calendar, and you can download them for free. And I did this in my free Facebook group, Room for Healing. We did that in March, where we just did like a mindfulness challenge every day of March. And they just they tell you how to be mindful and how to practice mindfulness. And it's really helpful because sometimes we just don't think about it or don't know what to do.
Yeah. And to have those little action items for every day, that makes it very cool.
Yep. So Steph and I actually have a course that's going to be starting on Wednesday that is, and one of the bonuses with it is a personal chakra attunement, alignment, and recommended plans specifically for you so that you can align your chakras and keep them aligned and maintain them going forward. We're also going to be teaching you how to tune into all of your clear senses and really get very, very comfortable with your intuition, being able to read it, to tune into it, to strengthen that relationship. The entire course is going to be in the space of the Akashic Records. So you'll learn how to open those. You'll learn how to use that space. You'll get the benefit of healing and alignment from that space. And you'll leave with a certificate of intuitive activation. So you'll be able to align your own chakras. You'll be able to align others' chakras. And yeah, what else do you want to say about that stuff?
I'm trying to think of what else.
Here's your mindfulness calendar. Yeah, no, thank you so much, Pamela. I love that mindfulness calendar. It's such a beautiful gift that they offered. I don't know if it started just when COVID happened with Action for Happiness, but it was so wonderful of them to put this out there. Oh, Monica, you're a beast tonight. That's one of my favorite things on the planet. Body scan and feel the way that her body is vibrating. This is her mindfulness tool in each area and how my muscles feel, breath work. So
I love that.
when I was little, one of my favorite things every night before I went to bed, I would do progressive muscle relaxation. I didn't know that's what it was called until I was older and became a therapist. But that's what I would do, progressive muscle relaxation, which is you go from your toes all the way to the top of your head, and you squeeze your toes and you hold them for a count of 5 or a count of 10, and then you release them very slowly, and then you move up to your ankles and your calves and your knees and your every little area of your body that you might not even think has muscles. Just isolate every area of your body all the way up, because basically what you're doing is you're releasing the same things that you're releasing when you're exercising, but it's at a milder level. So it's literally impossible for your physical body to not come down a notch and relax a little bit. And it really helps you tune into and have this relationship with your physical body. So, and breath work is involved, because as you're clenching, you're breathing in and then you're breathing out as you release on the exhale. So, and you're counting. And anytime you count, mindfulness is involved, because you're focused on the numbers rather than maybe what discomfort you might be having or something that's bothering you from the day. So thank you, Monica. You're like our assistant today. She also mentioned Yoga Nidra.
Yes.
Love, 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 love. In fact, there's a really awesome Yoga Nidra meditation on Insight Timer that I listen to all the time that I love. What were you going to say, Steph? You're looking stuff up like crazy over there.
I was flipping over. I was just checking through some of the different modules that we're doing in the class that we put together, and just wanted to mention that the work, I mean, by the time we're done with this, what we're talking about is being able to manage your energy. It's not, I mean, it's all about your intuition, but that is such a tool to be able to do these things in life that are going to help bring ease. And so being able to manage your energy, your internal energy, and shift your reaction to things when something happens that might not be ideal. We can reframe the way that we flow through those experiences in life. And that's really important. That was just one of the things that came up on my mind. And I was looking back through the, different activations that we're sending people through and teaching people how to access their Akashic records and be in that space and be comfortable in that space, and what that really means and how it translates to the way that we live our lives. And that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. And, we've been talking a lot about, why it's so critical to attend to your intuition and how that serves you and how that's very preventive.
Right.
But what I want all of you guys to tune into is, if you were not in touch with your intuition, and if that were not a relationship that you built and developed, how do you see things unfolding for you? What do you see your life being like?
Yeah.
Kind of what do you envision for yourself? Because for me, I think that I would be a yes girl. I would be a yes girl. I would just be like people pleasing, and I would just kind of go along with what?
Role assuming, the way we just assume roles in life just because.
I would just follow what other people told me to do, because I'd just be like, okay, that must be right. Like, I don't know.
Right. That's what people do.
Yeah. And I certainly wouldn't have the level of confidence and boldness that I do now, and being able to show up online authentically and just talk like whatever. So yes, it offers us more ease and flow, and it's very preventive. But it is also just important to the idea that is important for all of you to come to is, how does this uniquely assist me in my life? Like, how am I missing out because I'm not super tied into this? And that's the question that I wish I would have been asked years ago. I mean, trust me, I had a lot of people who would guide me and say, do this, do that, or this is, whatever. And I'd be like, whatever, do what I want. And I wasn't listening. And I had to get this really intense stuff coming into my experience to be able to listen, to be able to say, like, what would happen if you didn't have any of that ability to tune in? I would feel really lost. I would feel directionless.
Yeah. I get this sense of slow moving. Things taking a really long time because you know what it's like when you're waiting for something to happen to give you a cue so that you can make a decision. Not anymore. You just don't do things like that anymore. And so it seems like when you're tuned in and when you're aligned with your intuition, more happens in life. You can make more happen if you would like to. If you are that goal, purpose driven person, right? Or if you just want to bring ease into your life, you can do it in that way as well.
I think you just brought up a really good point too, because very similar to redefining my definition of success, I was always very goal driven, very success oriented. And now I'm purpose driven. So it's okay, do my goals align with my purpose? Yes. My soul's purpose, not my ego's purpose. Not what I want, not my human controlling agenda.
Right. That's big, isn't it? It's so big. It changes everything. It shifts and reframes the way that you see everything that happens to you in life. And it shifts and reframes the way that you see the opportunities you have to change things for yourself. Because things don't just happen to us, right?
No. I'm just feeling this all the way to my toes. I'm typing in the name of the course for you, Pamela, and I'll put the link there. It's called Cosmic Compass Calibrator. Isn't that fancy? I'm so impressed with our name. First of all, we didn't come up with it. The Akashic Records did, because Steph and I literally got together and said, let's just create a workshop because everybody's like a hot mess right now because there's so much chaos going on.
Okay. Back it up, sister, because can I just tell the story?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to get the link while you tell the story.
We didn't even, be honest, we did not even say, let's create a course. We said, let's talk.
That's true.
We said, let's connect. Let's talk. Let's open our Akashic Records and see what comes through.
And then literally all we kept doing was going, oh my God. I mean,
we're both like taking notes for an hour, and this is what happened. The first time we connected, we opened our records and we created, we called in a course.
And we were both like, do you really want to do a course? Do you want to do a course? Like, are we up for this? Like, what just happened? It was the most random situation. All right, I just put the link in there with you.
It's so much fun though.
Oh, it's so fun. Like I said to Steph when we got on tonight, I was like, I'm so happy I get to hang out with you and all these lovely humans on Facebook this evening. People who are I just honor all of you for being here on a Saturday night and just being, if nothing else, receptive to this conversation, participating in this conversation, just being open enough to say, intriguing. You know, like, even if that's as far as you get, you are integrating something new. Is Pamela talking about being a hippie grandma?
So I can be a hippie grandma and a Galileo.
I love Pamela Vargas so much, I can't even express it. She literally sent me seeds for this gorgeous flower that she has, and I'm so excited. She's amazing.
How cool.
She's got the most beautiful plant. And Monica, grounding.
Thank you to everyone.
What'd you say?
Thank you to everyone for fulfilling the soul contracts, just being here and just being engaged and being in the space with us. You're fulfilling soul contracts.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that you guys were all meant to be here tonight.
You're fulfilling a soul contract. You absorbing the information. It's what it's all about. So I'm excited. I'm just happy to hang out with you, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that we were all meant to be here with you tonight. We were all meant that we were. Are you all wearing off the shoulder shirts, or is it just us?
You are. No.
We need to know. If you guys are wearing sexy shirts, we need to know. Anyway, so if you guys have questions about Cosmic Compass Calibrator, please feel free.
Cubed.
C cubed.
C cubed.
C cubed. That's the name of the Facebook group that you'll be added into once you sign up. It's a 7-week course. And what's the 7th week stuff? Tell them about the yumminess in the 7th week.
7th week is so yummy. Sound healing. Oh, sound healing. And what is the other thing we're doing?
Cellular activation. That's like basically the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's my part. You guys know you want to come have so much fun with us.
It's only what you do for a living. Cellular activation in the Akashic Records.
I'm healing and cellular activation. But so it's going to be, okay, so it's going to be a 90-minute experience. And this is like the coup de grace. It really is. The coup de grace of the entire 6-week program and the way that everything comes together alchemically. It's so much fun. It's going to be amazing.
I'm just like sinking into the energy of it. I know. Monica, tank top. Ooh, there you go, baby. She got a tank top on. That's why she's so aligned tonight and bringing it. There you go. She's got a little tank top on. All right, sexy friends. So let us know if you have questions. There is a payment plan. There is no reason that you should not sign up for this course.
Yeah, we have eliminated excuses.
Yes, there are no excuses. Just dive in, make a commitment to yourself. This is how I started this whole thing. Because when I first learned about the Akashic Records, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was like, not really sure about this modality. And then I just like bit the bullet and said, I got to join a group and just pay for this shit because I need some help. I need somebody to not only hold me accountable to be consistent in this space and learn how to use it, but I needed to be exposed to the vibration of the Akashic Records to get adjusted to it so that I could really integrate it more into my life and into my being. So, I mean, that's why we've started doing this work. And that's why as soon as I got really well versed in it, I wanted to scream it from the rooftops because it brought me way more than I ever even imagined. So this is a really good starting point for you guys. And you're going to leave with a certificate and the ability to do this on your own. And that's the beauty of energy work versus me being a therapist for almost 20 years, which is, it's incredibly empowering. You're taking the substance of yourself, of your soul that is already there, and you're creating from it in a very empowered way that you may not have known before. And the possibilities are endless because the more that you're in that space, the more you will expand, the more you will create, and then it expands more, and then it expands more, and then it expands more. The more that I go into it, the more it expands. And it's literally infinite. It just keeps expanding. And I'm like, oh my gosh, every time.
How does this happen?
I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know why I'm still surprised. Like every time I go in and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Conchetta, I shared it earlier. Do you want me to put it in again, honey? I'll put it in again. I help a girl out. Okay, there you go.
Funny that you brought that up because it's a conversation that I've been having with my clients and students so frequently within the last week to 2 weeks. It's this conversation about how things continue to shift and grow and the experience and the work that you do.
I'm sorry, but Monica just talked about Bon Jovi. I'm madly in love with Bon Jovi.
Monica just won the whole live.
Monica.
Yeah, Monica.
the level of love I have for you. So I've told my husband many times if I ran off with anyone, it would be John Bon Jovi. Like I'm obsessed with John. I love him so much. He's such a love bug.
So funny.
Sorry, I know you were saying something profound, Steph, but
no, I totally was.
But Bon Jovi was introduced. So
I know that made it really rough. That derailed me. I'm afraid.
You were talking about your plans.
Talking about the expansion and just the way that everything continues to flow and get so much bigger. The work that we do. I mean, okay, so just take a moment and think back, Laura, to the version of yourself and the work that you were doing, what you were calling forward in the records. when you first started learning. And how different that is, what it looks like now, how much transformation has come through, and the way that the work has changed and shifted into something so much bigger than you could ever have imagined from that place you started.
Never. I went into this to help with physical illness.
Is it not the most mind-blowing thing?
It's so funny because right now I have a course called Activate that's been running. I think we're going into our 10th week. And it just in this past week, like so many of these women have turned the corner and they're like, oh my gosh, this is mind-blowing. I mean, they've loved it all along and gotten a lot out of it. But then it's like that switch flip and they were like, holy crap.
It's like you hit a spiritual benchmark.
Yes, you do.
And then all of a sudden it's like, shit gets real really quick and so much fun. And just, you find yourself in a new place.
You do. You do. And you just have so much, like, it's funny because, you know, and a lot of people use caffeine to boost their energy, and I use the Akashic Records. Like, that is I haven't had caffeine in like 25 years.
Yeah.
And that's just because I had migraine headaches. It wasn't because of any other reason. But anyway, and it's funny because now when people ask me like, I don't have any energy, I'm like, okay, well, you can take some supplements and, you know, these are things that you can do. But every single time, like, it's actually it's not good for me to open my records at night, because if I open them, like, let's say at like 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock,
I'm
so wide awake and energized and like it's enthusiastic and excited and passionate. And I have so much coming through that I'm like, I can't fall asleep until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have to open my records like earlier in the day because it just jazzes me.
Jazzes you. Infuses you with energy from the Akash, and then you're just
it does.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give you guys the rest of your Saturday night. I know Pamela's going to eat some sustainable food and clean the kitchen and light some sage. Thank you for sharing your evening. We love you. Thank you guys for being here. Please feel free to ask us any other questions about this course. We created this to get you to a point where you feel like you have mastery over your intuitive cues and signals. And this is only going to be magnified and basically intuition on steroids by being in the Akashic Records.
Yeah.
So we love you and honor all of you souls who have shown up here to spend this time with us tonight.
Thank you, ladies.
Now, to either of us individually, any of us, including Monica, who's our third host today. But no, reaching out to Steph or I, if you have questions and if anything just came up for you that you just really want to share with someone and you don't know where to share it, feel free to reach out to one of us, okay? And have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, guys.
Dude.
Bye.